Welcome to Drinking Bros, presented by StrikeForceEnergy.com. Put down the water and grab a fucking drink. Crossover.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution.
Welcome to Ross Patterson Revolution. This is a special edition episode. I'm not going Alex Jones tonight, but I am curious. I'm curious to hear your opinions. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I'm curious to hear your conspiracy theories over what actually happened in Las Vegas last week. Here's the thing. There's been a lot of news reports out that don't seem to have any answers. There was a lot of questions. There's a lot of theories floating around, but nobody really knows who the fuck Steven Paddock was or what he did. How he was able to get away with booking his suites at the Mandalay Bay Resort and killing 59 innocent people. I don't understand it. In today's day and age, I don't understand why we know nothing about this guy. I don't understand why there is so many conspiracies floating around. I don't understand why YouTube is taking down all of the videos and curating the Vegas shooting videos that are going up online. I don't need you to curate for me, YouTube. Don't need it. Alex Jones has had an interesting show about it, a few of them, about what is going on there. But tonight I want to hear your thoughts. So I'm going to call people and I want to hear what your conspiracy theory is. And I want to talk about this case, which to me is an open investigation. Because I don't think it was just him. I don't think this was just one crazy guy who happened to be psychotic, as they're calling him, and decided to go on a random killing spree. I don't think that's the case. I think this was meticulously planned out. I think there is definitely more people involved than just him, and I think there's ties to overseas. One of my friends, friend of a friend who's in the FBI, I'm not going to say who his name is. The morning of Monday, the day after the shootings, he sent me a photo of Steven Paddock killed inside the hotel room in the Mandalay Bay Resorts. Inside of his suites where he apparently had taken his own life. I can tell you just from this photo, there's another bullet that is square in his chest. It appears as if he was shot in the head at some point. Whether he did that on his own, I don't know. But if he did kill himself, it doesn't explain the second bullet in his chest, unless police came in afterwards and shot to make their own assumption that he was definitely dead now by putting another bullet in him. I don't know what the answer is. Alex Jones claims that there was some Antifa literature spread out across the room. A lot of people claim that there was a second shooter. Some people claim that there was another shooter at the Bellagio. I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts. So what we're going to do is just run down the sponsors, and then I'm going to call everybody, and we'll hear from you guys. First and foremost, we got straightrazors.com. You know that I'm a gigantic fan of straightrazors.com. They've been with us since day one. They are the premier shaving kit in the biz, kids. They've got the number one ranked aftershave, number one ranked cologne. Their straight razors are the finest shave you will ever have. Let's say you're nervous about having a straight razor shave. Get the safety razor. Throw a safety razor on. See how it tickles you. What I can tell you this is it takes about a day and a half off of shaving. It really does. And you don't have to keep buying razors over and over and over again. Huge fan of straightrazors.com. In particular, their aftershave and their cologne. Boy, it's called Smolder, and it is the dream. Go to straightrazors.com, type in the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. Again, go to straightrazors.com, type in the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. Support the show. Next up, we've got ledbyiron.com. That's ledbyiron.com. In particular, this is one company tonight that rings the truest for me, because they're 100% first responder owned. And I can tell you this, if those first responders hadn't reacted with such swiftness and bravery like they did in Las Vegas, there would be a lot more than 59 people dead. And we are eternally grateful to all of our first responders out in Las Vegas who helped out and no doubt worked unbelievable hours. Led by Iron is a line of functional fitness clothes, but it's more than that. Like, the t-shirts are just fucking cool at the end of the day. Like, for men and women. For women, they're not baggy. Like, it's not like some dude, giving you his XL and shifting you on down the road after a one night stand. These are nice shirts. You're not giving these away. These aren't catch rags. You're not giving these away. These are great. There's a great shirt. They have a thin red line shirt, and they have a thin blue line shirt, and they got a bunch of varieties on the site, and a bunch of cool hats as well. So go to ledbyiron.com, type in the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off their apparel. Highly recommend it. You probably see me wearing it on my Instagram all the time. Ledbyiron.com. Use the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. Last but not least, we got StrikeForceEnergy.com. Strikeforce Energy is the tastiest, tiniest little tin pouch full of energy you could ever imagine in your entire life. You don't need the can anymore. You can kick the can, kids. You can get rid of Monster, Red Bull, Kickstart, all of it. You just need a little tasty, tiny tin pouch. Comes in packets, a little box full of 10. Or you can get the 750 milliliter bottle that just rests up on your counter. A couple squirts, boom, boom, you're ready to go. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com. Try all 4 flavors. They've got regular, they've got lemon, they've got orange, and they've got Make America Grape Again. Grape's my favorite, and that goes into anything. Beers, waters, Kool-Aids, liquors, you name it. You don't have to stir it. Nothing. It's not a powder. It's a liquid. Goes in a liquid. Go to StrikeForceEnergy.com. They get a subscription of the month club. Type in the promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. Again, that's StrikeForceEnergy.com. Promo code REVOLUTION for 20% off. All right. We're going to start firing away and start hitting people up here. Really, really curious is to see and hear people's thoughts on this. So, yeah, let's do it.
Hello?
Hey, is this Ryan?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Ryan, it's Ross Patterson. How are you, man?
What's going on, Big Dick Daddy? What's going on?
Man, it is a Friday night. I'm having some drinks, and I'm trying to wrap my mind around what the fuck went on this week.
You know what, man? There are so many different things, and I'm not that kind of conspiracy guy.
I'm not either. Dude, I'm not a fucking tin hat guy. Like, I'm not I'm not a Sandy Hook denier, any of that shit. But this one I have a hard time with.
I completely agree with you, man. You know what? Just to bottom line it, I'm not going to make the speculation on what caused it, why he did it, because that's not as important as all the information that we're not getting. For example, from all the reports that we're getting, there's no way that he was alone doing this.
That's what I think. Yeah, I 100% agree.
There's conflicting reports. The FBI said that he got in on Thursday prior to the event. There's a police report, several police reports that say he actually got there on Tuesday.
Yeah, I saw that as well, yeah.
As far as what he used, everyone's saying that he used a belt-fed weapon. I don't think that's true. I still think that he used a bump-fire AR-15 platform. He had high-capacity magazines with 60 to 100 rounds from the photos that were leaked. But from all the reports of people that were on the ground during all of this chaos, they're saying there were people on the ground, there are people in neighboring hotels. There's no way he did this on his own.
Yeah, that's what I think. Let me ask you this, Ryan. Do you have a military background?
I don't actually.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because you seem to have a lot of knowledge about weapons. Are you a gun enthusiast?
I would like to think so. Yeah.
Great. Could a 64-year-old man handle that type of weaponry without that much experience? Well,
I mean, without the experience, I would say he probably could. That, like most weapons, like he was firing a 223 or a 5.56. It's a low recoil weapon. Even the 240 Bravos and all the other belt-fed weapons that the military use, they're not a whole lot of recoil. They are controllable. But I definitely think. I mean, my grandfather's in his 80s. He still shoots an M1 Garand.
Okay,
he could do it.
Okay, so it is possible, is what you're saying.
It's definitely possible.
Okay.
But the biggest kicker is that with the videos that are coming out, you can hear volleys of fire from two totally different ranges. The most notable one is a video clip from a woman in a taxi who's in a taxiway in a neighboring hotel, and you can hear a volley of fire that's like about 8 rounds, if I remember my count correctly, and they're super close, they're super loud. And about 14 seconds goes by, and you hear another volley of fire that's about 13 rounds, and that sounds almost 150 yards away. They're totally different distances, and that microphone is super clear. You can hear that first volley, it's right there.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because some people have said that the sound is ricocheting off of the hotels. Is that a possibility?
It's a possibility, but to debunk it with that one video, the first volley of fire was a distinct, and I counted them. It's 8 to 10 rounds. The second one was way longer,
right,
and you can still hear the distinctive crack, because when you're firing downrange, you can still hear the round crack as it breaks the sound barrier. You can hear the distinctive cracks from both volleys of fire, and they sound like they're from completely different distances.
Yeah, look, because I gotta be honest with you on this one. I've watched all the videos and I saw all the evidence, and at first appearance to me, I thought the same thing, that it sounded like two different weapons from two different distances. Mm-hmm. We could be wrong on that, but you and I together in the same boat on this one. What is your overall theory? What do you think actually happened?
So my overall theory is the motive. I'm not really sure. That's still up in the air as to why he did it, but I definitely believe that he had a plan to obviously take an attack. There are reports, and this could be fake news, but they said that he checked into a hotel or made a reservation in Chicago,
yep,
overlooking Grants Park for Lollapalooza,
yep,
that he planned to do this attack. But I feel like he had a few days to compile all of his weapons, his ammunition, get what he needed, and his ultimate goal was to claim lives. And I don't know if it was to send a message for a political agenda. Who knows? Some people are even saying that he was trying to do a gun deal with ISIS or something like that, and it went sour. That's why he was elected for suicide, like Hillary Clinton. And then they ended up carrying out the attack. But again, that's a conspiracy theory. We don't know.
Sure. What about the second shooter?
As far as the second shooter, if that woman that everyone was looking for within the first, 14 hours was able to make it into the fucking Philippines in less than 10, I'm pretty sure that someone else that might have been involved can get away pretty quickly too.
And who do you think's covering this up? Because, it is Vegas and there's so many cameras. Who do you think is overall covering this up? The government?
I don't want to say that the government is necessarily covering it up. And I think one of the biggest things, I'll give them the biggest benefit of the doubt, is that they have all of this information that they're trying to compile, and they can only release what they can confirm. And I think they have all of this unconfirmed information that they just can't really release because it's going to cause too much speculation. And I think that in a world like we live in today, everything is instant gratification. If we don't have answers right now, we're all fucking mad.
Yeah, look, including me and this show, because this is why we're doing this tonight, where I can't, for the life of me, I can't believe that an entire week has passed and we still don't have a motive or any fucking answers for this. And seemingly what is leaked is that there was, another key used and that somebody else was in the hotel room and used his car. How do we not know who that is?
Exactly. And I mean, the bellhop that delivered his room service said he was delivering for 2.
Exactly. Yeah, there was, and he saved the receipts and posted them on Facebook. It's since been deleted, but he posted the receipts, and it was, there was 2 people eating in there the whole time. So yeah, this is what bothers me.
Absolutely. And the thing that sucks about it is that it seems as though that we're going to end up getting most of our information from people who are not within our government, who are not investigating this shit. And we're going to be able to paint a better picture because all the information that we're able to compile as a whole is going to come out a lot faster due to social media than you can do in a press release.
Absolutely. And look, and again, I told this to the last caller, this is why we do something like tonight's show where it's like, hey, man, I don't want this story to disappear. I want to keep talking about this and try to figure this out. And, I saw YouTube was pulling clips. Now they're curating their own news regarding this shooting on YouTube. CNN and MSM stopped covering it today. Like, I want the fucking answer.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you. You let me call you and take up some of your time tonight. And, man, I appreciate you listening to the show.
Absolutely. Been a fan since day one.
Dude, I'm super grateful, man. I love you. I appreciate it.
Love you too, man.
All right. Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Hello?
Is this Leah?
Oh my God.
What up, girl?
What's up?
It's Ross Patterson. How are you?
Oh, I know this is you. I am so happy.
I'm so happy. I'm happy you took my call tonight.
Hell yeah, dude. I've been slaving over all this information since the shooting because none of this made sense.
At all, right?
None, not at all. And the more I dig deeper into it, it's scary as shit.
That's what I think. And at the top of the show, before we've had a few callers now. Before I called you, I'm angry about it. I'm actually pissed off about it. For this to take place in Vegas, and you don't have enough information to go off of now. There's no motive. There's no nothing. And seemingly the news stories are slowly dissipating one by one. Like today on CNN and MSNBC, it was back to Trump and Russia. It was almost as if they were done with this for some reason.
Exactly, because they wanted to get it out of the public's eye as quick as possible. Because my theory on this is it has to do with national security.
Okay.
I strongly believe it's national security. Because, when you think about, previous mass shootings, the first thing they want to talk about is gun control, right? However, I've been digging through a lot of different articles, and they're all talking about security. And even other hotels in the area immediately started putting in, those body scanners, the back scanners?
Yeah.
And it's really crazy. So I don't know if someone brought this up to you before, but have you heard of 4chan?
Yes, I've heard of 4chan, but nobody's brought that up on this show. So fire away.
Okay, perfect. Hold on. Let me pull. Can you hear me that I'm on speakerphone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I want to pull this up because apparently September 11, this past one, or the 10th, they're on 4chan. They do I think a yearly beware alert type of thing for 9/11. So if something happens, blame it on Mossad. Well, let me pull up the picture. Some guy actually posted, what time was this? September 11th. And he said, look, I feel bad for some of you on the website, so I'll let you in on a little secret. If you live in Las Vegas or Henderson, stay inside tomorrow. Don't go anywhere where there are large groups of people. Also, if you see 3 black vans parked immediately next to each other, leave the area. You're welcome. Right? Tell me that's not creepy.
Yeah. When was that dated?
That is dated Monday, September 11, 2017.
September 11th, 2017. So look, less than a month ago.
Exactly. Then more people were trying to figure out what he was talking about. And then he did another post, which said it's called the High Incident Project. They want to make the American public think that places with extremely high security aren't safe. They are trying to create more regulations. You will see laws proposed within the next few years to put up more metal detectors, other security devices. The media and politicians will be saying places with a lot of police need more police. And I can't guarantee anything will happen tomorrow, but Las Vegas is on their minds.
Wow. Look, this one's new to me. I had not heard that.
And it's dated the same time too. It's the same day, September 11, 2017.
So why? Let me ask you this. And if I can ask you to come off speaker, and come back onto the real phone. Let me ask you this. What's the importance of heightening national security like that?
Because there is a company here. Let me pull this up. Like I'm not even kidding. I've been going crazy looking at everything.
Oh, that's fine.
I believe it's OSI. And so what it seems is that actually looking through some more blogs, they were inquiring why OSI, which is a security group, I think they're the ones who do the airport scanners, the rapid scanners.
Yep.
Their stocks have been going up even before the incident. And no one really understood why they had such great grounding. And I personally think they wanted to, stop it, dude. Sorry.
Okay.
These damn dogs. I have like 10 all over me right now. But anyway, I personally believe that they want to just create more. They want to put those scanners in more places, and they make money off of those scanners. God, where is that damn article? There was another article that. So, do you know the name of the owner of the Mandalay Bay?
I don't offhand. I don't know the owner of Mandalay Bay.
Well, apparently he's connected with OSI and those other companies that have those security systems. Gotcha. And also, God, I can go on forever about this.
Go ahead.
He actually had, what was it? I was Googling his name, and it popped up an article about how he already had planned like a meeting with Trump before the incident even happened. So it kind of like, puts a red flag up for me personally that he had a meeting literally like within a week with the incident. Like it was already pre-planned that he was going to meet Trump. And it just so happens that now their meeting, quote unquote, changed from talking about national security to, what do you call it? To the shooting. To the shooting,
right. Right. Well, yeah. Look, as far as Trump is concerned, he owns a lot of casinos himself.
Exactly.
So that meeting to me could have taken place or could not have taken place. The hardest thing that I have, and I've said this a few times now, is you're in Vegas. There's a million cameras. Why isn't there footage of him coming in and out of this room? Why hasn't it been released to the public? A lot of people have said that there was another key card that was used, that it was somebody else, and there was definitely somebody else in that room.
Exactly. And also, if you look at a lot of the videos, there's more than one shooter. It's very obvious, including the fact that there's more than just that floor. I don't know if you've seen other shootings from other people. A lot of taxi drivers took videos.
Yep.
And it's like, those aren't getting spread around. And then, like you said, how the hell do they leak the pictures of the dead guy in the inside of the hotel room? But yeah, there's cameras everywhere in Vegas, and not just normal cameras, but these are cameras that actually recognizes people's faces.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the most high powered, security system there is in Vegas camera wise. Cause it's, your wall to wall cameras in there. So
exactly.
A lot of this doesn't add up. Now, overall, what's your personal theory on this?
I feel like again, the whole national security, that some way all of this is connected where they just want to make more money off of people. And how do they do that? They do that with things like this.
Fear.
Because at the end of the day, yeah, exactly, fear. Both sides, left, right, whatever the hell, everyone is always worried about security. Always worried. Everyone's always fearful.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, look, I own guns, lock the doors every night, lock my car doors every night. I live in a nice neighborhood, and there's probably no reason to do it, but I do it anyways. Now, look, I go to Vegas a lot as well. Probably go on average 3 or 4 times a year, sometimes for personal, sometimes for business. And now I'm going to be looking over my fucking shoulder when I go there. And I don't want to be, And I think you're right. I think they're going to install these scanners in every single casino now at the front door, and they're going to be flagging people. But, and
it makes no point either. Like, people are still going to get things done, at the end of the day. I just feel like there's no need for all these scanners. We already am losing all of our rights. Like, there's no such thing as privacy anymore.
No.
If someone wants to hit you, like if someone wants you to be dead or wants to take control of your life, they can do it. In this world with all of this technology, with the web, it's insane. So, personally, I would tell you don't try to live in, don't live in fear.
No, I don't, for sure. Like, me personally, I don't live in fear. But obviously, if you're going to a city where an incident like this happened, it's going to cause you to pause and look over your shoulder a couple of times where you're like, man, what the fuck?
That's how I felt going to Chicago.
Yeah, because you run into a lot of weird people in Vegas. Whether it's gamblers, whether it's, the Strip recently, I would say within the last few years, has become like Hollywood Boulevard, where there's people dressed up. You can take pictures of weird people with fucking snakes and shit like that. And those were already sketchy people already. People in like Elmo costumes and shit where you can take a picture for $2. Now you're gonna be like, all right, sweet. Does Elmo have a fucking AK underneath there, or what does he have? What does he got underneath there?
And the problem is, this is an ordinary guy. Like, he has no connections, no reason. He used to work for Lockheed Martin. You know what I mean? It makes no damn sense. Yeah. So personally, I am more afraid of higher up than I am of anyone near me.
Yeah. I get it. And look, I appreciate you taking time out of your evening to be on the show. And thanks again, seriously.
Well, no, thank you for calling. I was seriously so excited. And, there was a couple people who said, oh, it's too soon. It's too soon. I don't think it's too soon. I think this is always the best time to bring up things like this, because our whole country, our whole nation knows there's something up.
Same.
But again,
same. And that's the reason why I wanted to do this show tonight is because I'm genuinely pissed off about this. Like, we have nothing on this guy. This case isn't really solved. And I feel like we're being kept in the dark on shit. And if we don't talk about it, it's just going to go away, I fear.
Exactly. And then everything else is going to start popping up again. And that's how all these things get slid in, with new laws being passed and all these things getting thrown, and no one's going to know. So I personally thank you for bringing it up. Thank you for making it more vocal. And if other people have problems with it, they can go suck a bag of dicks. Excuse my language.
Yeah, no. Look, my language. My language is always awful. Always awful. But I'm with you. You can suck a bag of dicks. Because right now, this is on America's conscience, and everybody's thinking about it. I don't know why more people aren't talking about it. I mentioned this with another caller, CNN and all this stuff has now buried this story. Like, there was nothing on it today. Yeah. Nothing on it today. They went back to Trump and Russia again, which is fine, but it's there's still an ongoing investigation. We don't know what the fuck happened.
Exactly.
Give us details.
Yeah. It's so scary. That's why I'm like, it's literally terrifying.
Yeah.
I know you have a whole bunch of other callers, but thank you so much. Seriously. You're awesome. I haven't listened to you for too long of a time, but I listen to the Jurgen Bro podcast and all that shit, and y'all are awesome. So thank you so much.
Dude, I appreciate it so much, and thanks for listening.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
All right, have a great night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
This is Ty.
Ty, it's Ross.
Hey, Ross, how you doing?
What's up, dude? You're on Ross Patterson Revolution. What are you doing?
Hey, I'm sitting out here drinking a 420 Sweetwater IPA Extra Pale Ale in the new modern can with the trout going full tilt on the stripe.
Oh, big fan of that. As you know, dude, we're doing a conspiracy episode tonight on the Vegas shooting. What do you think happened?
You know, I saw a good amount of information come across the news feed, and I do have my conspiracies.
I do too.
And
I do too. What do you think? What do you think actually happened?
well, I'm just gonna go straight away. The guy had 12 guns deep, right? But if you watch some of the mainstream feed, there's major pauses between, a full onslaught of automated fire to then the second stream of fire. So if this guy's set up with bump, stocks, whatever, shouldn't he just run through his arsenal?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me. Like, why keep reloading the same gun? Or why have that much that much time in between? Because you're right. When you watch the video, there's a lot of time that goes between there. If you have 12 guns in a hotel room, why aren't you just discarding one, picking up the next? Yeah,
right? I mean, you're gonna die at the end. So, by all means, if you're into the fully auto, scenario, and they're gonna jam, they're gonna heat up. Pull the trigger till it ends, grab another one, go to town, you got 10 guns.
Yeah.
12 guns, whatever. Come on.
Yeah,
right?
that doesn't make sense to me. The other thing that, I've talked about with a few other callers before you was, he's 64 years old. A 64-year-old man with no military experience that's able to use, rifles like that that seems like such a stretch to me.
I agree. So, Ross, I was thinking about this conversation. I'm like, let's go back to our days at Ohio State, all right?
Sure.
Let's take the drunk, degenerate gambler, okay?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that dude gonna do? He doesn't give a shit about going out and setting up cameras in the hallway, devising a plan to put 12 guns in, take 3 weeks to put all his arsenal into play.
It's funny.
He's worried about, what hand's coming on and what game's coming on, next week that he can bet on.
That's what I said. Like, if you're that rich and you can just travel the world, because he said he went on cruises. They said last year alone he made $5 million in gambling alone. Why are you going to shooting up a bunch of people? Like, you could fuck anybody you want, do anything you want around the world. What is the interest? What is the keen interest on booking hotel rooms and trying to execute a mass murder like this? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Exactly, right. And that's the whole point.
Yeah, and there was another news story that said that he had booked a hotel room, a suite overlooking Lollapalooza. And that he was going to do that in Chicago. And then today, the manager who took the phone call and booked the room for him said that they spoke, and he was angry. He said, "Oh, it's my wife's anniversary, and we've got to have these rooms overlooking Lollapalooza, and this is where we met, and all this stuff." Is that just a ploy as well of like, hey man, start booking hotels at other places, like really start throwing people off?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I saw that post come along and I was like, okay, was it the guy? Did he actually book this room? Did he not? It just seems a lot of bullshit. They're like, for example, they said this guy removed an 800-pound window. Well, every picture I've seen, he shot the fucker out, right? I mean, he didn't remove any window. He didn't like surgically take it out. Would he take the screws out of it and, take a DeWalt drill and, remove it? No, hell no. I mean, if you're going to shoot some shit, you blow the fucker out and you start unleashing your arsenal. So there's a lot of unnerving facts that have come about this shooting, and it's very concerning.
Yeah, what's your overall theory? Do you think he was radicalized? Do you think he did it on his own? Do you think there's another gunman?
I think I think there's some truth in the fact that he sent his wife, his girlfriend, his significant other down to Mexico to be with her family because he knew
to the
something
Philippines.
was coming.
Yeah, to the Philippines.
He knew something was coming down the pike for him, and he knew it wasn't going to be something. So he made a strategic decision to do that in turn because there was going to be consequences, and he didn't want her involved. So he had one true love in life, in my opinion. If I'm trying to fish my way through this.
Sure.
And he made a decision, and then he lived with this consequence.
So you think it was him?
I don't know if he necessarily did it. I just think he's the scapegoat, and he was willing to accept it. I mean, when you read some of the information about, and you're familiar with Range 15, right?
Yeah.
These guys, know military weapons. They know smoke. They know muzzle fire. They know silencers. They know automatic weapons. And I just don't see this guy pulling it off, given the fact that Mandalay Bay had so many, just general alarms in place. And if you're going to go ballistic like this, I mean, where are the fire alarms? Where's
the footage? Where's the footage from the million cameras that are inside of Mandalay Bay?
Exactly. So, that's my point, is that, this cat was a scapegoat. He may had known about it, but he's not the culprit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've got a tough time with this one as well. Yeah, boy. And like I was telling another caller before, a buddy of mine, friend of a friend, is in the FBI and sent me a picture of Steven Paddock dead inside the hotel room the next morning after it happened. And there is blood coming out of the top of his head, and there's blood coming out of his mouth, but it appears there is also a bullet in his chest. So if he killed himself, why is there a bullet in his chest?
Yes.
So I don't know. But
there's so much information that just hasn't been uncovered. And if it has been, who wants to say, hey, we have terrorist, activity live on our soil, and we don't know how to solve it at this point.
That's true. That is another possibility that I've considered, where it's you look back on it and you're like, all right, maybe they're not telling us things intentionally because it's a part of something bigger. But if that's the case, I would want, as a concerned citizen, I would want to know.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not trying to go, very crazy on this thing, but you just don't want to create this type of terror and uncertainty or stability, within our country to be able to handle these things. We always want justice, instantaneous justice.
Yeah.
It's just, this is a tough one because you realize, how vulnerable we are, in a society that just says, hey, people can come in and shoot some shit up, and it takes us a long time to find out who did it.
Exactly. But this one bothers me. This one bothers me just simply for the fact of, in Vegas, there's too much there that you should know something at this point. You should.
Sure. I mean, how much do you love Vegas to just roll down the strip and be who you want to be, day in and out?
Oh, boy.
The best time of your life, right? But now there's just like this, this monkey on your back that says, well, wait a minute, man, should I go down this alley? Should I walk across this spot? What's going down?
And I've stayed in that hotel probably 10 times in my life. And it's like, man,
sure,
nobody loves Vegas more than the big guy. Now I gotta be worried about this stupid shit. Yeah.
I've seen your pictures. I can say, yeah, man, I think you appreciate it.
I definitely do. And dude, I appreciate you taking my call tonight. I love you, buddy.
Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Enjoy. Big fan.
All right. Night, Ty.
Bye.
It's my good buddy Ty from Ohio State. I've known him for years. Great dude.
Hello.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Hey, man. It's Ross Patterson. How are you?
Ross. Oh, you're the co-host on the Jable show, right?
Oh, she's gonna love you for that. She's gonna love you for that when she hears it.
I love the Jable's audio experience.
It's every time she opens her mouth, it is like 1,000 angels singing. Is exactly what it is.
It really is.
She's gonna love that. She's absolutely gonna fucking love that after this show.
Well, that's what I do.
Look, as you know, we're doing the Vegas conspiracy show tonight. So what do you got? What do you think actually went down last week?
Well, check this out, man. We have a Republican president, Republican House, Republican Senate. If ever there was a time to get all your gun reform bills passed, it's right now. You know, they've been trying to pass the bill to take suppressors off the NFA list and SBRs and all that good stuff. The reciprocity for concealed carry. Dude, what if this was the only way that they could stop that? What if certain...
You this is interesting. So you think it's from the Republican side that this came from, possibly?
No, I think it came from the other side.
Oh, you think it came from the other side? I got you.
Yeah, there's no way that the Democrats could have stopped all those bills from getting passed, right?
Well, I was thinking about it from the opposite view of like, hey, you know, if the Republicans did this, then there's no way you can stop these bills from coming through to get rid of everything because you need to protect yourself.
Yeah, well, and what was the first thing that Hillary Clinton said? She said, think how many more people would have died if silencers were illegal, which the NRA wants to do. And so, I mean, this guy was a middle-aged, rich, white guy with no military or firearms training. That's just weird, right?
Yeah. Are you military? Do you have any military background?
Yeah, I was in the Army for 5 years, infantry.
Okay, so do you think a 64-year-old man could pull this off alone?
I mean, maybe I could win the lottery tonight, though, too. Yeah,
exactly.
And I mean, I don't want to say who I think did it, but her name rhymes with Hillary Clinton.
So you think somehow she was involved and the Democrats were involved in this to pass their own agenda?
She's killed how many people? Why not do it all at one time?
I know. She's had rough sledding, but I would have a hard time believing that she's still kind of in the game at this point. Simply for the fact of they've got to regroup for 2020, and she's done for. I actually read her book that just came out, and like she named names and went through and blamed everybody for fucking losing this election. I just don't see a way for her back in.
And I mean, maybe she didn't have anything to do with it, but the other side might have.
Sure.
The left and the Democrats. That's the only way that they could have stopped these bills. I mean,
and look, I'm with you.
They're shelving the gun bills right now.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. Like, I think that could be a possibility, and even though I don't agree with all of what Alex Jones says all the time, he claims that his FBI informant who was in that room, that there was Antifa literature spread out in the hotel room, in his room.
I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised.
I look, nothing would shock me at this point, but the one thing that does shock me is why isn't it readily available to the public, and why aren't more people talking about it now? Like, we don't know anything about this guy, and you're in a town that doesn't sleep with 1 million cameras. How do you not have the ins and outs of what's going on?
Well, what if they killed Tom Petty to push this all over the edge,
That would actually make more sense to me. Tom just played at the Hollywood Bowl like 4 nights in a row and crushed it. One of my best friends was there, and he was like, dude, Tom was on fire. And I was like, fuck, I missed it. Tom was, by all appearances, healthy, so maybe they iced Tom to
do you think maybe that's one more body for Hillary Clinton? I don't know.
If Hillary Clinton killed Tom Petty, could you imagine if that got released like 20 years from now?
Man. Oh man,
minds would be blown.
Trump would get reelected again 20 years in the future.
I think he's going to get reelected again, anyways. I don't think they have a candidate that can stand up to him right now, unless they get Oprah to run against him. But I think he's good either way. But this whole fucking conspiracy theory, like, it just doesn't add up. Why kill 59 innocent people for gun laws, I guess?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't either. It's a tricky one.
Do you think we'll ever know, Ross? Ross or Damas?
I do. I actually
We'll figure it out.
I on this one, I'm going to say yes. Yes, we will find out. Simply for this is a leak now generation. Somebody's going to leak something that's going to lead us to what actually happened. How long that's going to take, I don't know. The other thing that's troubling to me is I really do believe there was another person involved, a second guy in that room, and that theory's been floated a lot right now. Was that guy the shooter? Was he, a buddy? Was he, a part of some terrorist organization that helped him devise this plan? I don't know. But how you don't have footage of this person who had a key and was in and out of the room and used the car in the parking garage doesn't make any fucking sense to me in Vegas.
In Vegas, where everything is recorded.
Yeah, like if you were in fucking Roswell, Georgia, great, maybe, but not in Vegas,
Yeah.
So it doesn't add up to me, but I think somewhere along the line, like, look, you take that waiter who would deliver the room service to his room, which was for 2 people. Why this guy took a picture of the receipts and then put them on his Facebook? No, what waiter takes a picture of all the receipts?
Nobody.
No, but he did. And he put it up on Facebook and said, hey, man. And then it was deleted later. And it was like, but there was definitely 2 people eating in there. So I don't know. I think either something's going to leak or this is all such an elaborate scheme that something else is in play. And if we don't find the answer out to this, something else definitely went on. You just can't get away with shit in Vegas.
No, you can't. What I hope happens is that we figure out who did it and we get video. And at the end, after whoever killed all these people, I hope he stops, looks at the camera and says, did I do that?
That would make Jables' life if it was Steve Urkel.
He'd probably die happy.
Yeah, boy. Crazy. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you you doing the show and being on tonight and spending part of your Friday evening with me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Ross. You guys keep kicking ass.
All right. Take care, Brandon.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.
Hello, is this Joseph?
Holy shit, Ross Patterson.
What's up, dude? How are you, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm fucking awesome. It's Friday night, having some drinks, and God, we're digging into this Vegas conspiracy.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think went on?
Personally, I think either he did it with another accomplice as a shooter, or somebody else entirely did it and put him off as a patsy.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Did you see the photo of him dead in the hotel room?
I did, and I actually have a couple of points I want to point out about that. Number one is if you look at the pistol above his head, all right, presumably that's the pistol that he shot himself with. Now, if he shot himself, wouldn't the pistol be somewhere down by his hands?
That's what I was thinking. The other thing I was thinking was, like, because I saw this photo the morning of, a friend of a friend in the FBI had shot it over to us, and I saw it. It appears that there's a gunshot through his chest as well.
I actually didn't see that part of the photo, but the other thing that kind of bothers me about that photo is that if you look at the bullet casing sitting in the blood, it looks like they were there after he shot himself, because there's no blood on these bullet casings whatsoever. Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what leads me to believe that, there was either another shooter that continued shooting after he killed himself, or there was somebody else shooting after his body was just planted there, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, the entire thing is strange to me, because I'm with the 2-person theory. Like, they said again, there was a second key definitely used for his room, and somebody else was in and out of there and in the parking garage.
Right.
So why don't you have video footage of that in Las Vegas?
Exactly. And that's the thing that bothers me too, is like, and I mean, I don't know how true this is, but I've read in several different sources that says that he used some kind of like video surveillance jamming like device or whatever.
Yep.
How does a guy that has no prior experience or anything like that with any of this all of a sudden have the knowledge and the expertise to be able to do, pull off a thing like this? This is like some Ocean's 11 type shit.
Yeah, and that's what I say. And look, I don't know if you have any military background at all.
6 years in the Army.
Okay, so a 64-year-old man with this type of high-powered weapons, it just doesn't seem plausible to me.
Not at all. Not at all. And I mean, the fact the guy doesn't even have a parking ticket on his record to speak of to begin with.
No, nothing. He's got nothing. And it was reported today that he had won $5 million in gambling last year. He's rich. So he's rich and he's traveled the world many times. He's been on 12 cruises or something in the last 3 or 4 years.
The guy was the dream.
Yeah. What would make you want to end your life and a bunch of other people's? You can do whatever you want. You can buy prostitutes, coke, whatever you want. Why do this?
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right about that. And it's like I said, it's crazy to me how like I said, there's no footage, there's none of this shit. The guy has no ties to anybody. And if you believe you me, I mean, again, this is just a theory. One thing that I think is that if you look at the description that he fits. The Republicans and conservatives all throughout the Obama administration, anytime anything like this happened, always use the defense that law-abiding gun owners don't do shit like this. Okay?
Right.
But this guy fits that profile to a T. A law-abiding gun owner who's a gun enthusiast, has several firearms, doesn't have a single mark on his record, now all of a sudden flies off the handle and does this. So part of me thinks that there's somebody, whether you want to call it in the dark government or whatever the hell it's called, there's somebody, I believe, on the left side of the spectrum or whatever that basically organized this whole freaking thing to try and pin, law-abiding gun owners against the wall in a push to, enact stricter gun control laws.
Yeah, what's funny is that's come up a couple times tonight from a couple other callers, and
I believe.
Yeah, and it look. I would say in one regard, as far as a theory goes, it makes sense theory-wise.
Right.
But the problem I have with all of that is fear. You're essentially scaring the public over and over again into this fear that all of this is happening when, look, if this was set up by somebody else, then it really isn't happening. Man, I just have such a fucking huge problem with that.
I know. And I mean, every time a mass shooting like this happens, I get so pissed off, it just cuts to the core of me. But for some reason, this, out of all of the mass shootings in the past, this one, for some reason, has been really eating away at me because just something about it does not feel right at all.
Same. And out of all the mass shootings that have happened, I would say, Columbine, Aurora, Sandy Hook, obviously, and this, the other three, we had answers on.
Right.
We had answers on those. With a shooting like this, so far we don't have answers in a town with 1 million fucking cameras. It just does not add up.
Yeah. Everybody's last move in that town is, they track your every move in some way, shape, or form.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't go anywhere because somebody saw you. A bellhop, a camera, a taxi driver. I mean, every fucking square inch of that town is got a camera on it.
Right.
So
that's what bothers me about it.
Yeah. Look, I hope we look back at this in a couple weeks and be like, oh man, we figured it out. And this was, this whole show was much to do about nothing. But I don't think that's going to be the case with this one. I think it'll get solved eventually. And when I say solved, I mean enough to satisfy the public. But will we ever know the real answers? I don't know. The other thing that and let me ask you this before I let you go. The other thing that bothers me is, so you have the picture of him dead in the hotel room, right? You have the picture of the revolver, the shell casings, all of that stuff. What about all the other items in the room? People took photos of those. Somebody's, there was one that said he left a note.
Right.
They've got pictures of the guns, obviously, in the bathtub. Why is there no picture of the note? Why don't we know what's on it? Why don't we know what else is in the hotel room?
Exactly. Why haven't they revealed this yet? Yeah.
How come none of that has been leaked? And that really fucking bothers me. And, if they came out in a few weeks and said, hey guys, we knew everything that was going on, but we couldn't tell the general public because we were searching for X, then all of this would make sense. But right now, a week into it, especially in a society that wants information now, including myself. I have a hard time with this one.
Exactly. And the thing is that at this point, everybody knows about this, this note sitting on the nightstand or what have you. At this point, tell us what the note says. Everybody knows it exists.
Yeah.
Just come out with it.
Yeah. And, I heard a rumor today. And again, this was just a rumor because most of this shit because it's not confirmed at this point, where there was just a bunch of different numbers written on that pad.
Like phone numbers or just like random numbers?
No idea. They allegedly they're trying to decipher them now, but I don't know. There's some theories that in his past, the reason why he's made so much money gambling is that he's figured out these complex algorithms for gambling. And look, a friend of mine used to work for somebody who did that. He made a lot of money in the casinos. He eventually got banned from the casinos. But if that was the case and it was an intense algorithm, wouldn't you know that as an FBI agent and be like, all right, cool, this is
right.
Yeah.
At this point, there's got to be somebody, obviously they're in Vegas. There's got to be somebody in town there that is some kind of an expert on that. If that's the case. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with this one. Do you have a theory on what it could possibly be?
My general theory, like I said, is that there was definitely, either he had an accomplice or there was another shooter altogether and it wasn't even him. And another thing that bothers me, and there's a lot of videos that surface that show on the 10th floor, muzzle flashes coming from the 10th floor towards the center of the building.
Right.
That's getting swept under the rug left and right.
Yeah, because the giant speculation behind that is how could you replace the glass?
I mean, it's very simple. Somebody with enough, willingness and enough power, and if they have enough of an ability to skate around all these different security measures and things like that, could very easily, figure out a way to take out the window and put it back before anybody, knows what the hell happened.
Possibly. The surrounding rooms, the people staying in the surrounding rooms would have had to have heard it. Because, right now we've heard accounts from people staying underneath Steven Paddock's room of what it sounded like. And, he had a pretty vivid description of it. He said, ironically, the gun blasts weren't that loud, but he said the whatever bomb they used to blow up the door was.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting, man. Crazy interesting. And I appreciate you taking time out of your Friday and being on the show.
Oh, no problem. It was my pleasure.
Absolutely, man. And look, I hope this is solved and all of this is, hey, we had a crazy Friday night and this was it, but I don't think that's going to be the case with this one.
Yeah.
For a while.
I'm kind of sitting back, I'm just doing all my own research. I'm just kind of sitting back and waiting and seeing what happens at this point before I, really get up there, talk, get on any kind of a soapbox and start talking to people about this.
Same. And a couple people online had said, hey man, this is too soon to be talking about this, but I don't want the story to go away. So that's why I would like to talk to people about it, because right now, today I was having a hard time finding information on it. And YouTube started curating their videos and started taking down a lot of these videos. And I'd like to find out what actually happened.
Yeah, no, of course. And no, I mean, and everything you just said, I've actually been keeping careful notes myself because, Buddy and I, we have a podcast or whatever, and we're planning on talking about it this week. And that's
what's your show? You can go ahead and plug it.
Okay, cool. It's Drunken Patriot. You can find us on SoundCloud and iTunes.
Awesome, man. Drunken Patriot.
Yep.
Perfect. And who's your co-host?
His name's Anthony Nugent, otherwise known as Uncle Ted.
Uncle Ted. All right, man. We'll check out Drunken Patriot. And, hey, man, I appreciate you being on the show.
Oh, cool. Thank you, man. Thank you for giving me a call. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Have a great night, buddy.
All right, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Well,
is this Tyler?
Yes, it is.
Hey,
Ross Patterson.
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm real good. Real good on this fine Friday evening. It's I thought we'd do the Vegas conspiracy episode tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got some kiddos there in the background?
Yeah, my wife's gone, so I'm here with both the kiddos.
Oh boy. Where you at? North Dakota?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
North Dakota.
Close. I was close with that. I like to guess by area codes.
Yep. Well, yeah, the area code's from North Dakota.
Okay. All right. Look, I was fucking close then, Tyler.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think actually happened in Vegas?
You know, all week since it happened, I've been, you know, on Facebook. Everyone shares everything, all this stuff, and then there's all these rumors and theories. Everyone's got their own theory, so I'm trying to piece together my own.
And what do you got, Tyler? What do you think happened?
Well, I don't think he did it alone. That's for sure.
So let me ask you this: do you think there was a second shooter?
I do.
You do. Within his hotel suite or somewhere else? Because there's another theory floating around that you could see muzzle flashes on the 4th floor.
Yep, I saw that, the video. And then I saw a video recently. It shows a gunman on the ground floor.
On the ground floor?
Yeah, it's not the clearest video, but you can see him shouldering his rifle, and then muzzle flashes and the gunfire. Really?
Now, do you have any military background?
I don't. I was raised in a military family. My dad was in the Air Force.
Okay. Yeah, look, I don't either. I'm the same way. Military family, but I have no experience in it. So for me, you know, I was with a lot of people on the 4th floor theory where you could see the muzzle flashes and whatnot. But then, you know, some other people wrote in and said, hey, well how come the glass isn't broken? How could they replace the glass?
Right.
So
yeah, how can they replace that so fast? And I've also heard people say that the muzzle flashes on the 4th floor were such things as a strobe light or a fire alarm light.
Which would tend to make more sense to me, and I'll tell you why. That glass in Vegas, I've stayed in that hotel before numerous times. That glass is so thick, I don't know how you replace it that fast without anybody noticing, or in the surrounding rooms, you don't hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
the 4th floor theory doesn't really hold up to me. Now the shooter on the ground theory does.
But my problem with that, and I'm still on the fence about everything.
Same here.
But my problem with that is, the video, it's not the clearest, but you can tell, you know, he's there. It's there. The video is shot there. But why hasn't anyone? Yeah, the media can be stopping him, but why hasn't any witness said that someone was on the ground floor?
Yeah,
maybe they have, but I haven't heard it. But.
Yeah, I'm with you there. There was a few witnesses at the Bellagio that claim that a gunman ran by and fired a weapon and discharged a weapon numerous times. A security guard there, and I want to say 3 or 4 people there claim that there was a gunman outside the Bellagio. And
I've heard of Aria.
I've heard the same thing. And is that people panicking and thinking that, you know, things are there? Because, you know, look, those gunshots are loud.
Right.
Is that people panicking? Is it not? My biggest problem with the whole case thus far has been in the digital age that we live in and how many cameras are physically in Vegas. How do we not know that there was another person or who fucking did this at this point? Like, that's what bothers me the most about this.
There's got to be at least, 10,000-20,000 cameras inside Mandalay Bay.
Boy, I can't even name a number.
More.
Yeah, I can't even name a number on that. And you're going to tell me, and not only that, but those suites in particular, you know, they have keys. They said that there was another person using the key, and in the parking garage, like, you would have a lot of cameras and a lot of angles to choose from.
Right. I just read that, and then about the hotel key and all that. And,
right.
And then, you know, there's videos with his brother, and his brother's talking kind of erratic about how $100,000 isn't that much money and all this, and it's just, I don't know, it's so weird.
Yeah, I mean, the government came out today and said that in 2016, Steven Paddock had won $5 million in gambling.
I didn't hear that. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. So if you have a lot of money, why are you doing this in the first place? If you're rich traveling the world, like, what's the What's the hitch on this? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Why?
he had no background of anything that would set this off. He had a $400,000 house. He owned a apartment complex.
Yeah, and
2 planes, pilot's license.
no military background. He's 64 years old. You're rich. What drives you to do this? So look, that's what bothers me. Do you have a personal theory of what you think it is? Do you think he joined up with ISIS or anything?
I think it's either.
You think he was radicalized?
I think he's either radicalized or he's a scapegoat.
Could be.
That I don't think it was him, but
Yeah.
I can't see him
Doing this.
having no. I mean, yeah, I don't know the guy, but having no past
training,
in
yeah.
this or no training, and then this shit happens, and 59 people killed and 500
Injured. Yeah.
plus murdered. Yeah,
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Well, Tyler, I appreciate you being on the show tonight. Take care of the kids. And, dude, I appreciate you being on, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right. Take care, buddy.
All right, you guys have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Is this Jeremy?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Ross Patterson. How are you, man?
Oh, man, what's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Oh, not much. Just chilling, watching on TV.
Nice, man. We're doing the Vegas conspiracy theory episode tonight.
Oh, yeah, I seen that earlier.
Yeah. What do you got? What do you think's going on here?
Well, I don't know if you've seen I've seen a recent, update from, I don't know if you're familiar with Ben Shapiro, but
Yeah.
he posted something about, I guess, some police that were, investigating the room found a cell phone charger and a key card. And I guess the phone charger didn't match any phones that were related to him.
Right.
And the key card was used while his car was gone from the hotel. Someone checked into his room and checked out, but his car left the garage.
His car left the garage.
That just kind of, yeah, it just kind of backs up the idea that, I guess to me, that someone else did it or there was an accomplice with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, I just started calling people tonight and, I was talking to the guy before about this. You're in Vegas. There's a million cameras there. How do you not know there was another person coming in and out of that room at this point?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to Vegas, but I assume a casino has 1 billion cameras, and no surveillance footage has been released even from a casino floor.
No, nothing's been released from a casino floor. You can't take 2 steps in a casino without being filmed. It is impossible. Not only that, but the elevators all have cameras in them. So how do you go all the way up, up and down an elevator through a parking garage with cameras? And you don't have any evidence of who this other person was that was using that key?
Yeah, I know. That's great. I don't understand how, a 60-year-old dude got, probably 400 pounds of equipment in without it being suspicious, too.
Yeah, look, he's 64 years old with no military experience to load those weapons without them jamming with a, what was it, a bump stock, they said?
The bump fire stock.
Yeah. How does a 64-year-old who has no military background, how does he prep for something like this?
Yeah, I don't know. I was reading something said he's been buying guns for a long time, and then a recent house he bought. I don't know if it was recent, but it was an article talking about he would gamble almost $1 million a year, and he bought a house in Nevada, somewhere it was $390,000.
Yep.
And he put up giant fences or this mesh fencing around it. And he told the homeowners association wanted to take it down. And he told them I don't want to see people and I don't want people seeing me. And I guess the people around said it seemed like he had tunnel vision. So I don't know, man. It sounds really weird. Motive hasn't been established yet, so it could be at various.
Yeah.
things, you know.
What's your personal theory on it?
Well, I want to say he's affiliated with maybe like some sort of terrorist organization, or maybe I hate to put it out that maybe it's like an Antifa thing, but I believe that definitely he was a scapegoat and he got waxed when he came back to the room and someone else already done left and the shooting was over and he was in there like, oh, and then he got scared, grabbed a gun and got shot. Or he was like, oh, this is pinned on me, and blew his head off. Yeah, and
you know what's interesting? So before I started calling people tonight, I got the actual photo of Steven Paddock dead in his hotel room. Mm-hmm. Before we went on, I described the photo. It appears it's the top half of his body. He's got blood coming out of his mouth, and it appears that there's blood coming out of the top of his head. But there's also a gunshot to the chest. So there is
which would signify that he got waxed by SWAT team.
One would think, or there's a couple different theories I have about this. Right? He could have taken his own life. SWAT team could have came in and then shot him to make sure he wasn't still alive, or they iced him on their own. And then they're looking for somebody else,
Yeah, that could make sense. Or the dude that was doing it shot him, and then, well, like I don't know, like the guy that so there was someone else that used his key card and went in there, and maybe he was like tied up in there or something. I don't know. He was just a scapegoat. They did it. They fucking shot him in the chest, and then he shot him in the head a bunch of times or something to make it look stupid or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's this one is a strange one, and this one bothers me in particular because again,
sure.
you're in Vegas, so like if this would happen in like a remote area, where there is no cameras or something like that, then I could see like, all right, cool, it's one crazy guy who went on a rampage. This does not make any fucking sense. Why you're not releasing any security footage? How do you not have a picture or a photo of whoever this second guy is who is using that key card to get in and out of that room?
Oh yeah. Another weird thought that I had. They said the shooting lasted like 9 minutes, and I mean, I'm familiar with ARs. I shoot a lot, and someone who's unexperienced like that. I mean, I know I could say he was like spraying and praying with it, but a 9-minute shot, and they say he shot over like 600 rounds or something. It's 30 round mags. For someone who isn't familiar with mag swaps and being good, if you listen to the footage, it sounds like because reload time is very slow too. So I'm just confused at how, like almost with wounded and deaths, like 600 people, like got hit or killed from someone that is by themselves. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, a lot of people are saying out of the 517 or whatever that are injured, they think a lot of them were trampled trying to escape.
Oh, okay.
So they think that's where the majority of those injuries are. But that brings up another valid point of how come we don't know how many people were shot? How come there is no number of like, oh, hey, 460 people were shot. We know how many were killed, obviously, but we don't know how many people were shot. And again, I have a really hard time with a 64-year-old man with no military experience doing this on his own.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of them ones that, I mean, we're either something's going to come out later or it's going to be one of them things that go down that we never know.
Ah, man, if we never know, if this turns into like an Oswald type sitch, when Oswald killed Kennedy and he got killed himself, if this turns into that in Vegas, in a hotel in Vegas, I would be floored. I mean, absolutely fucking floored.
Oh yeah. I like you said before, it baffles me that there's no surveillance footage at all.
Nothing. And I'm angry.
That we know of.
Yeah. And I'm angry about it. Like that's why I decided to do the show. Like I'm angry that there isn't more information out there, or at least like, hey, try to help the general public try to catch this other guy if you suspect there's another guy.
Oh yeah.
I'm pissed off about it, but hey, man, I appreciate you taking time out of your evening to be on the show, Jeremy.
No problem, man. And my wife says hey too.
Oh, tell her I said hello. Tell her me and the Jabe will say hello.
All right, I will. Well, I appreciate you calling, man.
All right, man. Have a great night, buddy.
All right, you too, man.
Bye-bye.
Speak words.
Trey.
Rossi P, what's up, man?
What's up, dude? It's Ross Patterson. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you? Is James there?
James is not here. Yeah, she's well, no, we've got there's a like a parent function tonight, so she's with the child, and I thought
I was at Chuck E. Cheese with mine.
Yeah, exactly. so I thought I would be the creepy dad who comes up, into the attic and makes calls to people at nights about conspiracy theories. As you know, we're talking about the Vegas shooting tonight. What do you think happened?
Man, I posted something last night, and I really think people are just freaking the fuck out over it. I mean,
so
you look at that glass.
Yeah, you think that he did it, and that's it.
Pounds,
yeah.
He's 700-800 pounds apiece. You either bust him out with a hammer or a rifle. They say he was firing from somewhere between like the 4th and the 10th. And
by the way, they did find a hammer in the room. So it appears he knocked out the glass with a hammer.
Yeah, I mean, if he was firing from any other positions, or if anybody else was firing from other positions, don't you think that glass would have been busted out?
I personally do. And there's been a lot of theories floated online
Ross,
about.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, I lost you for a sec. What was that?
That's all right. Me personally, I've heard the theory that there was somebody on the 4th floor, and you could see muzzle flashes in some of the videos. But
I think that was reflection, man.
Same. And how do you? Because how do you replace that glass?
You can't. I mean, it's impossible. Oh, dude, I found a video on Live Leak where one of the first responders, it was, afterwards, like he was actually on the ground and they were going person to person, like, no, this one's gone. And then they start working on people. They actually turned the lights off on them and said, no, everybody out there is dead.
Wow.
No, man, like we've still got people alive out here. We got people working on this one and this one and this one. Like they were shutting the lights off on them and going home, dude.
Jesus.
Craziness.
Either way,
I'll shoot you that link.
Yeah, I'd love to see it for sure. Send it in. Either way, though, you're the first caller tonight that actually believed it was him and he acted alone.
No, man. I think and I think the shittiest part about it all, Ross, is, I think it's a JFK or a situation like that where this dude, there wasn't any Antifa or Al Qaeda or ISIS shit behind it. I think this dude was just a fucked up old rich guy that wanted to go down in history.
Man, look, it's certainly possible, and it's certainly an interesting theory. I guess, for me, and I chatted with this about a couple other callers earlier. For me, it's like, man, if you have that much money, you can have such a blast in this life. Why go out at 64? Like, why 64? You could really fucking still rip shit up. Like prostitutes, coke, you name it. Like you could have it all. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, do you know how much weed you could buy with that?
Oh boy, you know how much syrup you could buy with that? If you can find bump stocks, you can certainly find syrup like in nooks and crevices all over the world. Like, why not? Just enjoy your fucking life. Like, I don't get it. It's 64 with that much money. Doesn't make any sense, man.
Get it, man.
Yeah,
no sense at all, bro.
And if you want to go out in this life like a legend, dude, hire fucking 40 prostitutes, take that same suite at Mandalay, and really fucking light shit up, and then let them find your dead body in there and be like, dude, I don't know what happened. He was shot up full of heroin. There was 40 hookers in the room, like,
and blood coming out of every orifice.
Yeah, like it doesn't make any sense. Why kill innocent people?
No, it makes no sense, brother. It's just fucked up times we're in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, hey, dude, I appreciate you taking the time tonight, and we love you, Trey.
And you saw that, bro. I was rocking the Revolution over at Chuck E. Cheese.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
And just putting it out there, there were no toddlers in the bathroom when I took the photo with the dick in the hand.
I appreciate it, man. Have a great night, Trey.
All right, brother. Thanks.
Bye, buddy.
Later.
Later. Would this be the Big Dick Daddy, Ross Patterson?
Oh, it is. You know it is. How are you, Ben?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Man, it's a Friday night, and I'm doing all right.
Is your beautiful wife with you?
No, she's not. She's not. She's actually with the child right now, and
she's probably enjoying that more anyway.
Yeah. I'm up here. I've got my tin hat on tonight. I'm trying to make sense of this Vegas shooting.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
You never will make sense of it.
You don't think we will? You don't think we'll ever make sense of this?
Well, you saw my comment on Facebook. I said, obviously it was the reptilian overlords that control Hillary Clinton and Soros.
And Soros, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense. That one dude didn't do it by himself.
Yeah, let me ask you, do you have any military background? I've asked this just about every caller tonight. Okay, great. Because
North Carolina National Guard deployed to Kosovo, got back last year.
Oh, fantastic. So again, and a few other people tonight that I've called have had military experience. So let me ask you, could a 64-year-old man operate this type of weaponry on his own with little experience?
I mean, anybody can learn it.
They can. Okay.
I mean, anybody can learn it. I mean, it's a bump stock. Everybody's going crazy about this fucking bump stock. It's it makes you fire a little faster, but it's nothing too special. And everybody's questioning, how did this 64-year-old man carry 500 pounds of equipment? He didn't do it at one time.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Alone,
yep.
He was at the hotel for 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah, he probably carried it up in suitcase here and there.
Onesies and twosies.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
or a luggage a luggage
sense.
rack. We've traveled a lot for production. You could put all that on the luggage rack if you wanted to, one at a time. I just don't understand why there's no video or surveillance of him doing it that's been released.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. If you ask me, it's some kind of government-related thing. Now, I don't think Trump said, hey, you know what we should do? Kill a bunch of fucking random people. I don't think it necessarily had to do with him, but, CIA or even fucking people that want gun control now.
Right.
Go ahead and do this terrible thing, and then we get what we want.
Yeah, because let me ask you, did you see the photos of him dead in the hotel room?
I think I saw like one of them. I didn't see a whole lot of them.
Because those have leaked. Another caller said, "Hey, man, if you were killing yourself with a revolver, why would it be that far above your head afterwards?"
Yeah, man, it's just like these people that have stuff on Clinton and then shoot themselves in the back of the head twice.
Right.
I mean, it's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, he didn't do it by himself, and ISIS has tried to claim that. As they do with every mass shooting and every bad thing. I mean, they'd claim a fucking hurricane if they could. They're just trying to seem more powerful than they are. So they've claimed this, and they say, oh, yeah, he converted 6 months ago. And, that could be the case. His girlfriend is in the Philippines right now. She has family in the Philippines. He just sent $100,000 to the Philippines. And, there's definitely Islamic terrorist stuff going on in the Philippines. It's not the craziest thing in the world, but regardless of it's an Islamic terrorist thing or whatever, he's still a fucking terrorist.
Exactly. And I would have a hard time that a 64-year-old man just wakes up one day and was like, man, I'd really like to do this.
Yeah, I want to kill a bunch of fucking people.
Yeah, I just it doesn't make sense. So you don't think we'll ever have an answer to this?
Not if whoever's pulling the strings has anything to say about it.
Okay.
I mean, I think there's probably going to be some leaked documents in 6 months.
Gotcha.
Nothing's going to come out soon. It'll be a while.
Yeah, because I had this discussion with an earlier caller where I said, we're in a leak now generation where, fuck, everything you do is leaks. You can't get away with everything. Or with anything. I just have a hard time believing that somebody wouldn't leak something about this, relatively soon. Look, the reason why we're doing this show tonight is I'm surprised we don't know now. We're a week into this thing, and you've got a million cameras in Vegas. We have nothing. We have nothing on this fucking dude. And supposedly there was a second guy in that room. Why don't we know who that is?
The whole receipt for the dinner that he had one night, that it says 2 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let me ask you a question. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you have plenty of people to call. Because who doesn't want to talk to the big dick daddy Ross Patterson? But what do you think is going to come out of this on the gun control side? I mean, I said, it wouldn't surprise me if somebody that wants more gun control was behind this.
Yep.
Because these little. I mean, I'm not calling them little because people die, but these shootings of 3, 4, 5 people aren't getting the job done for them.
Sure.
So they do a huge shooting so that they can get their point across.
Yeah, look, if we're going down that road, my guess on that is this: I think you will see more gun control, and I think the NRA is too powerful, but they'll be willing to concede certain things. I think the silencer thing will definitely be killed. I think the bump stock thing will definitely be killed. Those will be illegal. I wouldn't.
Well, it's already really hard to get a silencer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know people that have got. I know 2 people that have gotten silencers, and it took over a year.
Yeah. So, but I think if you come out and publicly state, "Hey guys, we are getting rid of silencers altogether and making it completely illegal," I think that would satisfy the public. I think if you said, "Hey,
nothing's going to satisfy the public."
No, but
as long as you can have a single shot pistol, they're not going to be happy.
A little bit, and enough to say that, hey, we gave up something. So I think if you say, "Hey, we're going to make silencers illegal, we're going to make bump stocks illegal, and maybe one more thing," that will be just enough for both sides to be like, all right, there was something was accomplished from this.
Yeah, and fuck Hillary Clinton for immediately after it saying, within 12 hours of the shooting, saying this, if he had a silencer, this could have been way worse.
Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, what? That comment came from left field. Didn't that seem that way to you?
Oh, completely. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Let people mourn right now. Give your condolences and all that, and shut the fuck up and sit there. Wait at least a week before you start trying to push all this, gun control shit.
Yeah, it seemed really quick, and it seemed really random. Like, why speculate to silencers immedially if you didn't know anything about it? Really strange. Really strange.
And fuck Dan Bilzerian.
Oh, you know what's funny, man?
It came out recently that he ran up to a cop and said, "Hey, give me your gun," and the cop was just like, "What the fuck? No."
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you? No, go away.
Exactly. Do you listen to Drinking Bros at all?
Oh, fuck yeah, from day one.
So Monday's show is about Dan Bilzerian. You'll be real happy about that.
Man, I used to like him when he first came out because
a lot of people did. Yeah,
when he first got big, 18, 19, some 18, 19-year-old kid, young, dumb, and full of cum, looking at this guy who's a jacked dude, has cars, money, guns, and bitches.
Yep.
I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to be him. But then it's all a show.
Yeah.
He's not shit.
No, and a buddy of mine used to book events for him, like celebrity appearances and shit like that. And, the girls are staged. All of his shit is staged. It's just to get that one photo for Instagram. That's what his entire night is about. Is to get these one photos for Instagram. His life isn't that fucking crazy. And, he was a fake operator and he got exposed is what happened.
Yeah. And then when the bullets started flying for real, he got on Snapchat and is running away.
Yeah.
And then is stupid enough to ask a cop for his fucking gun.
I mean, that to me is one of the craziest assumptions of all time. Of like, oh, hey, you're the guy from Instagram. I'm a police officer. Yep, you can have my gun. In what fucking world?
Need it.
Yeah. In what fucking world is that going to happen, Dan?
He needs to get pistol whipped in the face for that. And then he's coming out calling Dakota Meyer a piece of shit and all this.
Oh, yeah.
Dakota Meyer talks shit on him, rightfully.
Oh, dude. Dakota Meyer's a real hero who could kill that guy.
Oh, you're goddamn right.
Yeah. I know Dakota. I've hung out with Dakota numerous times. Dakota is a real life badass, and he would crush a guy like Dan Bilzerian.
And Dan Bilzerian is an online badass. Fuck him.
Exactly. Well, dude, man, this was super interesting, and I appreciate the time tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And next time you're down in the Raleigh area, be sure to post and Drinker Bros RDU.
You know I will. I will, my man. Together. Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
All right. Well, you have a good one, man.
All right. Have a great night, buddy.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Hey, is this Rick?
This is Rick.
Rick,
this is Ross Patterson.
This is Ross Patterson. How are you, man?
Oh, good.
Awesome. Hey, look, thanks for taking my call late on a Friday night. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, you still got me at work here, but midnight I'm punching out at beer time.
Oh, awesome. So as you know, we're doing the Vegas conspiracy episode. What's your theory on this?
Well, I had a few. First of all, I want to do a shout out to Drinking Bros. I've been following you guys since episode 4. I actually found you by accident in iTunes, and I've been a fan ever since for all the things you guys do for the military and all that. I'm a civilian, I'm not military, but I just want to thank the military for all they do. Keep us safe and all that. Being able to,
absolutely.
It's awesome. I love what you do too. So I'd like to get into it. When it first happened, I was shocked, and all the conspiracy started and the video started, and I had everyone started talking about the second shooter, which is what I want to hit on first. Where I'm like, oh great, here comes the 9/11 truthers. How are they gonna work in steel beams and jet fuel to this one? And so my buddy was adamant, and he sent me that video of, I guess I could describe it as the taxi driver or whatever who was in the Mandalay Bay drive-through or carport or whatever you want to call it. She was filming, and it was the film of you heard the gunfire coming from the top, of the hotel, and it was quite loud. And you're watching it, and you're hearing the gunfire, you're hearing the report, from the echo, and then it goes silent. He's reloading or he's got a jam or whatever, and it's silent for a couple seconds, and then you hear the muffled, in the distance.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh wow, that's when I really started to look into it. Like, wow, I'm a firearm owner. I've been around guns most of my life, and it's like that wasn't a report. That wasn't that gun. You could clear as day hear the difference in decibel level. So that struck me as odd, and that's when I started to really look into it.
Yeah. Look, I'm the same way. When I first started watching all the videos and hearing it, it sounded like two different guns from two different distances.
Right. Yeah, that was quickly. I quickly formed that opinion as well. How it went silent for so long, and then you heard it was clearly other gunshot. I mean, I don't know what else that could have been that far away, and it seemed very odd to me. But that kind of leads me to where I think this man they're talking about, the shooter or shooters, but let's just say shooters for the mainstream media narrative. What I think is after we had that Scalise shooting, a few months ago, and you put these guys' pictures next to each other. It's almost like if you told me they were related, I'd almost believe it. You got 60-year-old white dudes. The dude that shot up Scalise, it turns out he was kind of like a Bernie bro or something like that.
Right.
He wasn't a big fan of Republicans for Trump, and he asked the bystander before he went on a shooting spree, "Oh, are those the Republicans up there?" "Oh, yeah, they are." And then he went on the shooting spree. Thank God he was a shit shot. And Scalise lived, and all the officers recovered, and all that.
Yeah.
In today's polarized political world, I mean, you get stuck in an echo chamber, especially the left echo chamber. It seems, with CNN and MSNBC, BuzzFeed, Vox, all these articles are coming out with. And you've seen it in the tweets after this horrible tragedy happened of these people tweeting. And saying, "Oh, I'm so glad it was white on white," and that was a community outreach. That one guy tweeted, and just saying, "Oh, I'm glad all the Trumpers died," and horrible, horrible things. And it's like, well, you got this guy who now we find out his dad had some pretty big issues too, being as the FBI called him, the psychopathic bank robber. So, I mean, it's obvious that some mental illness does run in this family. So how long does it take for a man and he was on SSRIs, I guess, he had some depression or whatever it may be, that sheriff came out and said that. So it's like, so maybe this guy wasn't in the best state of mind. And, how long does it take to sit in that echo chamber with MSNBC and CNN telling, all Trump voters are white supremacists, and Antifa saying, "Oh, go punch a Nazi," which basically means, if you're not Antifa, you're a Nazi, and you're allowed to punch them, and kill white supremacists and stuff like that. How long does it take in that echo chamber for a nut job to say, "Oh, well, I'm going to go do the Lord's work here and go to a country concert"? And let's be honest, a country concert. I've been to many. I've been to 4 Aldine concerts myself, and let's be honest, you're talking about middle America, middle class, salty people who are just there to enjoy a show. And let's be honest, probably most of them do have conservative or at least libertarian marked on their voter ID card, and most of them are probably Caucasian.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. I've been to a lot of country shows as well.
Yeah, right. So it's like, what a better target? You get 20,000 of these white supremacists and neo-Nazis together and take care of them. It says it seems, and of course that's not true. But if you got history of mental illness, and this is of course with me, I'm a diatribe here, but it could seem very possible this man may have been radicalized, by maybe Antifa or some kind of other leftist group, or just the echo chamber that exists nowadays in social media. And look at late night. That's all it is. It's one-sided.
And I lean that way as well, where I have a hard time believing that a 64-year-old rich guy just decides to, up and murder a bunch of people and end his, knowing he's going to end his own life as well. Being that rich, if it wasn't for a point or, a side, if you will. So there's got to be some explanation for this other than, oh man, he just snapped.
Right. Yeah, I can't buy that. And, I don't think that's good enough for the victims either. Because, this guy just snapped. There's got to be a motive, and it's always, for motive, you always look to the target. And it seems like the target was, in my opinion, like this white, conservative group that was at a country concert, who couldn't fight back. And, it's striking to me. That's what I'm thinking. If this guy really just snapped, I'd expect him to walk down the strip, to like Rambo, walk down the middle of the Vegas Strip and just start popping people, right? I mean, if you just go nuts and say screw it, F the world, then do it, and you're going to be going down the strip just shooting people. That's what I would assume.
It's funny, not funny, but it's crazy you mentioned that, because there is other areas of the Vegas Strip that are so highly populated. You could kill more than 59 people if you wanted to, jump out of a car or a limo right on the Vegas Strip. Like, it is packed.
Sure.
Almost every single night. So, yeah, exactly. If you just snapped, why not do that and then go out in the middle of the Strip?
Right.
It'd still make you famous if that was your thing. If you were doing it for the fame, you'd have the same exact result. So why plan it this much unless maybe you thought you could get away with it? Or he's a patsy and somebody else did it. There's a lot of questions to be answered on this one for me.
And you know what? And I would definitely give a lot of credence to both things you just said. The whole patsy thing. I don't know. I don't want to go into that whole thing again. I'm not like a big 9/11 truther or anything like that.
I'm not either. That's the thing is, earlier in the show, I said this to the listeners. I was like, look, I'm not a big Alex Jones guy. I'm not a big tinfoil hat guy. I'm just not. Yeah. I'm not a Sandy Hook denier. I'm not one of those people. But this particular one struck me. That's why I wanted to do a show about it.
Exactly. And I'm so glad you are, because I think a lot of things need to be talked about. Because unlike 9/11, nowadays everybody's got a phone on them, or a camera on their phones, and now you get all this, almost instantaneously. People are uploading to social media and YouTube and all these videos. It's kind of sad and sick to say, but we're almost programmed nowadays. If something like this starts happening, what do? You pull your phone out, you start recording. Which is, it's kind of sad, I guess, but the good thing about it is now we have so much evidence and so much video to review. we could maybe hopefully we could find out, what the case really was, and if in fact we're actually getting the straight story here. And I think that's what we really need to. I'd love to get the straight story, for the victims. They want to. I would love to have for them to have closure,
Exactly. Exactly.
I don't want them. I don't want the cops to finally say to them, "Oh well, he's just a crazy nut job with a lot of guns. He snapped, but now we're going to pass a bunch of gun laws to keep you safe. So sorry you lost your family member." I would hate to see that happen at the end of this.
Same.
So I hope the truth comes out.
Same. I'm with you.
And then finally, I would like to see that Mandalay Bay. I mean, I've never been to Vegas, but I have to assume that hotel's probably got more cameras than Fort Knox. So, and that guy had been there for a couple of days, so they say. So the sheriff said, I would like to see. I would like to see the
footage.
The footage in the FBI release.
Same.
Footage of who was actually at that room, and who came in that room, who left that room, when did they leave, and what did they have on their body when they were coming and going,
And or at least show us, because allegedly they said he was bringing up, a couple suitcases at a time with the guns in a luggage rack. Show us that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I know where those luggage racks are in that hotel.
Sure.
I've stayed there a bunch of times. There's a million cameras on it. You couldn't get a luggage, fucking cart without that, without there being video evidence of it. So,
right. I'm not totally up to date on this whole story, but I mean, I haven't seen any video that they released yet.
No, they have not. They have not. So
they have not yet. Okay,
which is odd
and
to
I understand
me.
It's obviously a huge investigation, and all that. And I'm sure there's multiple police departments, FBI, CIA. I'm sure they're all on top of it, and I'm sure they're reviewing the footage. But I just hope that it gets released honestly and unedited, and I hope we get the real truth.
Same here.
I would hate for there to be any. I would want there to be closure and good closure, and to say and for them to give us an answer and say, here's what happened, here's how it happened, here's how we can prevent it. The whole, and it's so sad to hear these, these crazy liberals, and I'm not some crazy right-wing wacko, but some of you got like the Nancy Pelosi's and the Chuck Schumers and stuff, and before the bodies were cold, he had Hillary Clinton out there with her suppressor tweet, which anybody who knows anything about guns, a suppressor and a fully automatic weapon, I mean, that doesn't jive. And before the bodies are cold, they're calling for gun control. It's like, how about we stop and let's get the answers first and see what motivated this guy and see how we can prevent, these type of people from getting these kind of firearms. Instead of targeting the rest of America. And let's get some closure to families before we start talking about laws and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Hey, look, I'm right there with you, my man. Well, I appreciate you taking my call, and dude, I appreciate listening to the show, Rick.
Absolutely. It's a great show. I love what you guys are doing. So
awesome, man. Thank you so much, Rick. I really appreciate it, buddy.
All right. God bless, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye. Mr. Rivera.
Hey.
This is Ross Patterson.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Hey, good. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Getting ready to go out for my birthday.
Oh, shit. Then I won't keep you. As you know, we're doing
you're good. You're good, man.
Oh, perfect. Well, first of all, happy birthday. How old are you?
Tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 35.
Fuck. Congratulations, dude. Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Look, as you know, we're doing the Vegas conspiracy episode tonight. What's your theory? What do you got?
Man, there's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of information that's coming out. I think that the biggest thing is I don't see this being a one person job.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't either.
Personally, do I think that there was a second shooter? No, not necessarily. But especially because everybody's already debunking that flashing light that they thought was muzzle flash.
Yeah, on the fourth floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When it was caught an hour beforehand, the shooting even started. The guy's rich. The guy is, I guess, from what I understand, diamond status. I'm not a gambler, never been to Vegas, so I don't know exactly what that means. But apparently, you're invited with specialties, and you get special privileges.
Oh yeah, you get the whole fucking kit and caboodle.
Exactly. So, the guy was obviously well known and liked, especially at that hotel, at that casino. Could he have been some sort of undercover agent because he was an accountant and he had money and he had access to a lot of different people and things. Yeah, I think he could. I mean, that's what our government does. They take people, everyday people that have special access or jobs and have unlimited amount of funds and utilize them as assets. I believe that could be that could have been a total incident with him there. A gun deal gone bad, possibly. I mean,
really?
It's not too far-fetched. I think so. I mean, this is, like you said, conspiracy, and it's just
sure. Speculation,
it's a small
absolutely.
Opinion. I mean,
yeah,
he could have been selling. It could have been a botched, Fast and Furious type deal, where which was thrown out already, which was suggested, not thrown out, but suggested that that could have been the case, that he is funneling weapons for whatever three letter agency that's out there and selling, and he got caught and by whoever he was selling to, and they offed him. He shot himself right before police broke down through the door, and he shot at police. Very well could have been, but I find it a little hard to believe that he was definitely all alone, because I mean, you can't even cheat at gambling in any casino, from what I understand, without security finding out. I mean, they're watching every little move.
Yeah. And
thousands upon thousands of security features,
cameras,
any casino.
Yeah.
And cameras. I mean,
that's what bothers me about this in particular, where it's you have to have footage somehow. And how come the public doesn't have it? How come none of it has been released?
Exactly. And my opinion on that is, I was military police and K-9 when I was in the Army. You can't put out information that you haven't combed through yourself yet as the investigator, and you don't want to look like a dumbass either.
Right.
When you put out information a little too early, they need to get through their investigation and do it properly. And being that this is such a high profile case, they don't want to look too stupid, which I think they're doing. Las Vegas PD is obviously doing a good job, and especially with their response and everything. They need to get through all of that, come through all of those small little details before they start releasing anything. Could they be holding back a lot of information that they already have already? I believe so, because if there is a second shooter, they probably don't want to tip off that other person or persons,
right?
That they know that they were there, and they don't want the public to know, to scare them as well. I think that would cause a lot of hysteria out there, and a lot of anger between politicians that think they need to freaking get in on some gun grab and make this an issue about guns, when it's not. It's an issue about one individual or several individuals that decided to commit an act of terrorism, in my opinion. But this is not just one guy. I mean, you don't have to be, everybody can be a chef and a lawyer by looking at Google. Everybody can freaking know how to operate a 240 Bravo or any other high-powered rifle or whatever that's out there, just by simply Googling it and getting a lesson from YouTube. So, he doesn't have to be smart on the weapons, nor does he have to have any military background. But that's a lot of, from just the pictures they release, that's a lot of ammunition. That's a lot of weapons for one person to bring up by himself without looking too suspicious. Yeah, and the theory is that he had stayed there 4 days prior, possibly longer, that maybe he was bringing up individual suitcases two at a time, on a luggage cart or something like that. Yes, of course.
And so let's say he did do that, and he used a luggage cart because he wasn't going to lug that all himself. There has got to be video evidence of him at least putting the luggage on a cart somewhere. You're not doing it underground fucking 10 miles away. You're doing it in the lobby of the hotel room. So, of the hotel itself. So where is that footage?
Exactly. And if supposedly he had help from somebody that was, working at the hotel, coming through service entrances or anything, there's still got to be footage of that as well. I mean, we can figure out the timeline, within minutes, from the FBI and from other agencies, the moment that the 9/11 terrorists entered through the airport and to the ticket stands and through the gates, and then all of a sudden now this case, we we're not getting footage of this guy walking in and out of the hotel on a daily basis with, big black bags. Not even big. I mean, most of those weapons can be broken down and fit into a regular gym bag. We're not getting any footage of that. I mean, our government's good, at getting information, but damn, 9/11, they ended up having it instantaneously, and our government's not that good.
Yeah, and now
they're not that good at investigating.
Yeah, and everything is so technologically advanced now that it's like, you want to tell me, because look, for 2 days, it was just one photo of the dude with his eyes closed. And it was just
exactly.
That's the only fucking photo you have? You don't have any surveillance photos of this fucking dude in his face. The one you're going to publish is the one doing a shot with his Asian girlfriend with his fucking eyes closed. Like, it's just all of it. None of it makes sense to me.
And on top of that, how many people that go through, and like I said, I've never been to Vegas, but you're on vacation, anywhere you go, if you're on vacation or you're in some luxurious place like the Mandalay, because that place does look really fancy. You're telling me that people don't have an accidental background photobomb of this guy in the background while they're doing selfies and all this other crap with their phones, taking pictures of other people? They don't have an accidental shot of him walking past. There's no camera footage throughout the whole entire hotel.
Yeah. It's look, I've stayed in this hotel numerous times, and like I can tell you, like, there's a million fucking cameras in there, so there's no excuse for this.
It's like the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. Not an inch there's an inch that's not covered by surveillance.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not like there's a secret stairwell that he got to go up and nobody else did. Because he certainly wasn't walking his fucking all those guns up 32 flights of stairs either. So
and what about this body cam footage from the police officers entering the room? They said that he had cameras set up in the hallway as well, facing three different directions. Where's that at? And he had one in his room. I'm sure people would like to understand what was going on with that as well, because if there's camera footage in there, then you have it from beginning to end, every detail.
Yeah, and then you could release that and say, hey, guys, we have this case solved. It was him and him alone. We have nothing else to go off of. Case closed. Crazy incident. We have it all on video, and, we'll release it someday.
Exactly, because now they're saying we want to know what his motive is. Well, if you have camera footage that was playing and recording, then you obviously can get the motive from that.
Yeah,
so did maybe some agency personnel make their way inside to the into the Las Vegas PD and get help from someone there to get that video taken out of there, and it mistakenly got lost, and Las Vegas PD doesn't want to say anything. I think that's a possibility.
Boy, in something this high profile, to me, it would be highly unlikely, unless you were trying to cover it up. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I mean. I mean, and that's the other thing. If that's the case, then someone is trying to cover it up, and that's why they're not releasing anything. I mean, because honestly, this guy had 3 cameras. They were recording. He was looking for anybody coming into his room. He had one inside the room, supposedly, as reported. And you're telling me that you don't know what his motive is? I mean, he would have been talking and going through the steps of setting up his bird's nest and everything through that. And you're telling me you don't have anything?
Yeah.
You don't understand why he did this? I mean, I don't believe that, he was in debt. I mean, he was a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
There's no way all of his assets that he has now seem to be fine. His background checks out. I mean, this is a solid citizen with no criminal record, even from county all the way to federal.
Doesn't even have a parking ticket. Yeah, doesn't have a speeding ticket. Yeah. So
I got a question. What about that picture with him, his eyes closed, that they released? I looked at a few of them, and there's a tattoo on his neck. Did you see that? I think it's like the tattoo of a number 13.
I didn't actually. I did not see that.
It's supposedly, I don't know, maybe someone photoshopped in, but all of the pictures I've seen so far of that photo, there seems to be a 13 in this right underneath his Adam's apple, or something
really?
That looks like that. Yeah. And then when you look at the picture when they're standing over him of his body, you don't see anything. But like I said, it could have been a Photoshop. All the pictures I've seen so far have had it of that same photo that's been circulating around. So then that's like the only picture they've been using. So
yeah, I pulled it up now. I'm looking at it now. To me, it could be the photo, like, an optical illusion of the 13. in this other one, they look like they've kind of outlined it more, but you know, in his past photos, the ones that the brother released, he doesn't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
In the one where he's you know, allegedly killed himself, he doesn't have it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I saw that too.
The other thing,
what's up with his brother as well?
Yeah, the brother's a fucking weird guy. But let's face it, everybody's got a weird brother, so I'm not necessarily gonna go bug fuck on that one. But I will say this on the photo I got, and I talked about this earlier. A friend of a friend had sent it to me from the FBI. The photo that I received personally had almost his entire body in the photo, and it appeared that there was another shot in his chest.
That's what I heard as well. I haven't seen that photo, but I think I read probably one of the other conspiracy sites that I was on just looking, and I think someone had mentioned that as well, that he had he had like one or two to his chest, and then there was one to the one we see where it's to his face.
Yeah, so, you know, with that, like if you're killing yourself and you know, you come into the room and he's already dead, are you shooting again to make sure that he's dead? Or, you know, did somebody else shoot him before they left? A lot of questions on this case. A lot of questions on it.
Definitely. And it's odd. It really is. This is one of those things where, especially like you said, now technology's everywhere. 10 years ago, 15, 12 years ago, we wouldn't have the footage that we have now from everybody that was at this, at this concert. We wouldn't have this kind of footage.
And you would think that you'd have more than enough to go on now. You know, if this had happened 40 years ago, 50 years ago, you'd have nothing. And you'd be like, all right, exactly. Fuck it, man. It was this one guy and that was it. It would be like an Oswald situation where it's just like, all right. I mean,
more information is coming about the Kennedy assassination now from, that long ago than we had even up until now.
Yeah.
But another thing I question. Was the shooting okay? The shooting was. They say the shooting was coming from the 32nd floor, but everybody's videoing. He's using. To me, they haven't really. I don't think they released exactly what weapon was being used, but to me, from the sound of the cycling of the weapon and everything, and the burst that he was using, and the it sounded like a 240 Bravo, which is 7.62 machine gun. Military grade machine gun. I mean, it's what we carried when I was in Iraq. It's what we had as well, along with the 249. So it's a large caliber weapon, but everybody's got their cameras pointed in that same direction. You will see a muzzle flash from any gun that is cycling at that rate of speed that he was cycling through.
Sure,
you would see a muzzle flash. So it makes me question: was the shooting in fact coming from there, or was it another weapon from some other direction?
Let me ask you this: when you're firing that caliber of rifle at that in a small confined space like that, like a room, is there smoke after you fire it?
Yeah. So the barrels get in. You're not going to have a lot of smoke, but you will have smoke from the rounds when they're ejecting from the heat and from the gunpowder as they're firing off. So when the rounds are ejecting, you're going to get that. You're going to get smoke from the rounds themselves. Now, on top of that, at the cycle that he was going through, with the 5, 6, 7, 10 second burst, your barrel's going to heat is going to heat up as well. And then that's why he was pausing. That's what makes me think it was, something from what it sounded like is something equivalent to a 240, because you have to pause, because if you keep going, you're going to melt your barrel down. You will literally melt it. It'll glow red hot. And if you just keep going and cycling through, it'll melt down.
All right, so then
swap barrels out.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you this: because it appeared that there was 12 guns in the room when they, by the pictures and all that shit that they said were supposedly in the room. Why use the same weapon over and over again if you have 12 on you? Why not just go through all 12?
Why not load them all up and just have them lined up in the room? That way you can just pick one up when one runs out of ammo, and
that would be the easiest, right?
Yeah, I would think so. But it's kind of hard to fathom the idea, because there was what looked like a 308 rifle with a scope that was laying on the ground in the background on a bipod in one of the pictures. If he really wanted to cause mass casualties. I mean, more deaths than what he did already. I'm not trying to play down the damage that he did.
Absolutely.
But if he wanted more control, he would have used something outside of a machine gun, and be able to track more targets and hit more targets and be able to take down more people and actually get more deaths than 5960, whatever the number was. But he pretty much from that angle, Stevie Wonder could have hit all of those people with that automatic, that machine gun, whatever he was using.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, why not go through all of them unless he was just wanting to spray and get rid of ammo and just cause as much. Maybe in his mind, he was going to cause as much. He could cause more damage by doing with a machine gun than he could with, proper trigger squeeze and and breathing techniques by using a sniper rifle or an M4. Which, I mean, 400 or 500 yards. An M4 is not going to do a whole lot. You're going to probably miss more if you're not familiar with how to properly aim and follow your targets. But in that big of a crowd, I mean, he would have done. He could have done it anyway. So
yeah, man, this one's a tough one. This is a strange case, and look, I hope we'll have answers, but I don't know, and that's why I wanted to do this show tonight. I appreciate you spending part of your Friday evening with me. Happy birthday, and dude, have a few drinks for me tonight, will you?
I'll have one. I actually quit drinking a while back, but I will definitely do that. And I appreciate you giving me a call, man. It's always a pleasure. So, and I'm sorry I missed your call last time you were doing this, but I was in the middle of dropping a deuce last time, and I didn't know the number. I was like, who the hell is this? I was like,
look,
I was with my girl, and I was trying to convince her to give me head while I was when I was taking a dump. But
sure,
go for it.
Sure, no, look, and I appreciate your sacrifice on that one, because look, I wouldn't have answered my phone call either if I was getting head taking a dump. So, have an awesome night, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, you too, brother. I look forward to hearing the episode. Have a good night.
Hey, it'll be out on Monday, man.
Outstanding. Thanks, brother.
All right, take care. This was an interesting show. I sincerely appreciate everybody taking time out of their Friday evening to let me chat with you, to hearing your theories about what's going on. I know it seems strange and fresh and new, but I really wanted to do this show tonight because once again I truly feel that this news story is almost slipping off the fucking table, and I want to know the answers, behind what's going on. A lot for our country, a lot for the victims, and for the people that were affected by this. And I don't want this to get swept under the rug as just another shooting. Because again, in this day and age, I find it hard to believe that we don't know who did this this soon with that many cameras. I hope the truth comes out. I hope tonight was all, speculation, and maybe we could all talk about what we were feeling about what went on this week. I hope that's the case, but I don't think it is. I think eventually something will come out, but I don't think it's going to be for a while. But our hearts obviously go out to the victims and their families, and I hope that this case doesn't get swept under the rug as just another random shooting in America these days. We always usually do the revolutionary figure of the day. This time we're not going to. We're going to give this one to the first responders in Vegas, the police, the fire department, the paramedics, everybody out there who tried to help save lives that night. We are truly grateful for your service and what you've done. Appreciate you tuning into the Ross Patterson Revolution. Have a good night, everyone.